Hello and welcome back, YouTubers, to another episode of Pokemon Theories. I'm your host, Protomario, and this is the show where we discuss theories ranging from Red being a ghost to why the heck Jinx looks the way she does. Hello and welcome back, YouTubers. I'm Protomario, and today's video is about Zorua and Zoroark being N. Now, there's a lot of people that ask this question, and this question was asked by Kirby1781. So, Zorua or Zoroark is N. Most people lean towards the fact that Zoroark is N, because there's a scene in one of the games where you follow Zoroark, and when you discover or finally reach the dead end or whatever, N is there instead. So Zoroark is a dark Pokemon that has the ability to transform, or it is the power of illusion, rather. So the first questions we need to answer is, can Pokemon be Pokemon trainers, and can Pokemon transform into humans? So this is a tricky question. Ditto is a big example to be used for this. In an episode of the anime, Ditto was told to transform into a person in a picture, and he instead transformed into the picture. And, you know, Team Rocket thought he was messing around, but truly I don't think Ditto can transform into anything really other than Pokemon, or more specifically, what he actually sees directly in front of him. So that key transformation aspect requires Ditto to actually see. Ditto can't do it from memory. In fact, they tried to get Ditto to transform into a Dragonite, and he instead transformed into the book instead of the picture. Once again, he needs to actually physically see the Pokemon to be able to replicate DNA structure. So, cool. Obviously, later on in the Orange Islands episode, when Ash was taking on the champion of the Orange Islands, he sent out a Ditto as his first Pokemon, and he perfectly mimicked Pikachu, which means Ditto is capable of perfectly mimicking Pokemon. But the question is, can he transform into a human? That's up for debate. For now, let's put that on the back burner, though. Let's answer the question, can a Pokemon be a Pokemon trainer? And that question is definitely a yes. And you guys might be thinking to yourself, no Pokemon has ever been a Pokemon trainer. You're crazy. You're crazy, Protomario. No, I'm not crazy, because in the first movie, Mewtwo was a Pokemon trainer. Yes, he was. He used a special Pokeball device, he cloned his own Pokemon, and he was a better trainer than most of the trainers that were there at the time. So, once again, Pokemon can be a Pokemon trainer, just not many of them are. Some Pokemon like Alakazam may be able to pull it off with his psychic powers, but the only Pokemon I've ever seen do it is Mewtwo. So let's say we have Zorua. But the next problem comes into the ability to transform into human. While that's up for debate, being able to transform into human does not necessarily make it so that he has the memories of a human. Specifically, the way we handle ourselves, the social aspects. So while N is desiring freedom for Pokemon, and he wants Pokemon to not get hurt and things of that nature, Zorua or Zoroark may or may not be able to imitate our isms, how we act, how we socially acclimate ourselves to our environments. So he may be very, very weird and obscure. Not to a good level. Not to a point where he's cute. More like the guy who hangs out in the corner licking paint chips off the wall because he sees something tasty on it. You know what I'm saying? One of those off people because he doesn't know, and that Pokemon would never know. This would lead me to my next example of how Zoroark couldn't possibly be N, for another reason, due to the simple fact that even though he can transform, Zoroark doesn't necessarily know the English language, or again, all the mannerisms that come with English language. For example, there's many words that mean different things, you know. So when he's speaking to the trainer, he could be saying a word that he doesn't even understand, and that wouldn't be able to work out too well for him. that would cause his illusion, quote unquote, to fade out pretty easily. So there's support on both sides to whether or not he could be N or he could not be N. Obviously, the Pokemon would probably be able to detect an illusion here or there, and of course, Zoroark may or may not be able to keep up the illusion forever. So maybe you caught him when he was releasing his illusion and taking a rest for a while. Who knows? Again, it's all speculation. Pokemon can be a trainer. If Zoroark was able to transform into another person, he would be able to be a trainer. So, okay, we've gone over the facts that he could be a trainer and he couldn't be a trainer. But let's seal the deal here. Let's confirm one thing. Many people think Zoroark is N, but the problem lies in one simple thing that many people forget. Even though Zoroark has the perfect ability to transform and cause illusions and things of that nature, that doesn't necessarily mean that he would be able to do it without first seeing someone to transform into. And being a clone or a transformation would require Zoroark to actually see that person first in real life and meet them to transform into them. So a few things would have to occur for that to actually happen. Zoroark would have had to kill N and get rid of the body so that people wouldn't see two N's walking around. That'd be a little bit suspicious, especially being the guy watching the news and seeing N on the news and saying, hey, that's me, but I wasn't there, you know. Obviously something's going on. So Zoroark would have had to kill N and take his place. Zoroark would have had to meet N in a distant land or country that would not be able to see that news broadcast or something similar. So that's about it. I mean, if N actually did exist and Zoroark was able to transform into him, there would still be the problem of the original, because what would the original do? He would confront his clone. Imagine seeing your clone on TV doing all this stuff for Pokemon, or seeing him at a public square event rallying for the release of Pokemon. It would be a little bit disturbing, and I think a lot of people would be inclined to question what the heck is going on. So, either way you put it, it's highly unlikely that Zoroark is actually N. There is a small chance, and yes, there is the possibility that, of course, Zoroark could possibly perpetrate an illusion that he is actually a human to every single person he sees. But it would be highly unlikely and require a great deal of skill. And being a wild Pokemon, I'm not entirely sure that Zoroark would actually have the skill to be able to do that without being trained first. I'm Protomario and I'm signing out. And once again, guys, if you have something to add to this, please leave it in the comment section below. And if you have a Pokemon theory for me, please leave it in the comment section below. And if I choose your theory, I will give you a shout out before the theory video. I hope you enjoyed that video, guys, and now time for a service announcement from the Maverick Army. Tired of the norm? Is it time for a revolution? Join the rebellion and become a Maverick today by subscribing to Protomario. Remember, together we can create a new world order of gaming. Mavericks unite.